Today I am working with 6-year-old Frannie Mae, who is a pitty mix and has probably some of the best ears that I've seen on a dog. So this morning her owner wanted her to go over to Home Depot and get some exercise and work on some socialization, some leash work, good things like that. And she's never been to Home Depot before, so we just wanted to see how she would do. I felt that she was ready for this challenge. So this morning I popped her in the car, and she hasn't seen me for a while, so you could tell she was just a little confused and disoriented slightly with me putting her in the car and taking her over to this weird place where there's lots of cars and lots of people and lots of commotion. So when I got her out of the car, I just wanted to kind of refocus her and give her a little bit of a chance to catch up and relax, since the car ride over was only about 10 minutes. But I just wanted to let her kind of connect with me and relax before we went into the store and added to that distraction. So I just started with some yes game, where I am saying yes and dropping a treat when she looks at me. This way she can start to understand to give me her attention if she's not sure what else to do. She's going to be able to see things in there. You're going to see and hear and smell a lot of things. But when you notice them, make sure that at some point you can check back in with me. So we're just doing a little bit of yes game out in the parking lot, and as soon as we get in the store, I am jumping into more yes game because, again, new sounds, smells, ideas. Now, she was actually a little bit more comfortable in the store once we got in here, a little bit more connected. She's very treat motivated, which is very helpful for keeping her nice and calm and connected. But I am just kind of letting her have a moment to sniff and be curious, but still connect with me. So as I go through the session, you might notice her body language change a little bit. So she came in with a little bit of nerves. She's just not sure what Home Depot is. Trying to explain this to a dog is beyond me. So it doesn't always make sense to them what we're doing and what this place is. So she's just kind of checking things out. If you notice, her tail and her body language is a little bit lower as she's turned away from me. She's a little bit stiffer. She's a little bit more on edge. And then as she turns to me, we get a little bit more of a tail wag, and her body language seems to come up, which tells me that she's happy to connect, especially if there are treats involved. But I want to make sure that I'm offering her that invitation to come towards me if she's feeling uncertain about things. So here you're going to see what that looks like from this perspective, where we're just kind of like walking forward, letting her look, and then inviting her to come towards us. And yeah, she's just a little disoriented about like, what are we doing here? What should I be doing? And because it's been a while since I've worked with her, I'm really just prioritizing today if she can just check in with me and follow leash pressure. We're going to do a little bit of confidence building too, with just getting up on top of a couple things. But I really would love for her to just check in with me like that when she is feeling like she's nervous, or if she's getting towards the end of the leash and feeling that leash pressure. These are lovely little check-ins. Here, I'm going to ask her to just kind of bend this way, bend that way, and in a second, I'm going to ask her for a calm, quiet sit. I don't actually think she knows what this is, so I'm just going to very gently ask her for it. I offered a little bit of a security pet there because she is kind of just feeling a little bit like, what in the world did I wake up to today? This was a first thing in the morning appointment, so she's kind of feeling a little, this was not part of her routine today. So I'm being very patient with her, trying to help just guide her through what is asked. So here I'm going to try another calm, quiet sit. Again, I'm not totally sure that she has one. I'm going to ask with a little bit of hand pressure over her hip, and you can see that she says, I'm not sure what that is, and that is going to send me over threshold. Please leave me alone for a minute. And so we go back to yes game and a little bit of bending with the leash work, just to help reiterate that, like, we're here together. I'm not here to put that much pressure on you, and just hang out with me and you will be okay. So here you can see in that little clip there with her face up there. So now she's got kind of like that stress pant on. She's kind of worried about what's going on. So I'm going to kind of leave her alone, let her come up onto the steps, take some treats. And this is a game that I love to do with dogs, is just get them on top of things. If you've worked with me for any amount of time or have watched any of these videos, you know that I'm always talking about getting dogs on top of things, as it builds their confidence in their physical ability. So now we've switched aisles again, and I am seeing that she's kind of getting a little bit more nervous. It's harder for her to check in with me as much as she was doing, especially when there are sounds. So we're just going to go back to do some yes game, just to build that confidence and that connection back up. Now, this is a dog, because it's her first time here, our goal is not to see the whole store. So I'm going to keep her to a few different aisles and kind of go back and forth in between those aisles in order to keep her confident about what she's doing and make sure that she isn't feeling like every single place is somewhere new. So sometimes if we take dogs into Home Depot for the first time, they are doing the whole store and there's nothing, everything is new. And so I want to give her a little bit of something she can come back to and say, okay, wait, I've done this before. Okay, this is what we did in this aisle. So that's why I try to keep them to kind of one part of the store when we take our first trip in. Here we're trying again on one of these little ladders. I'm not putting any leash pressure on her or any real pressure to get her to go up on the ladder. I'm just asking her with treats and with a little bit of body language to get her closer to getting up on top of everything. Now, I don't necessarily feel like she needs to go all the way to the top, but I am curious if she can stretch her body out to get that treat on top. When I have dogs who are a little tense or a little bit in their head, think about like what with people, when we get nervous or anxious, our body is tense. And so one of the things we can do is stretch and bend and connect with our bodies again. So when I have dogs like this, I like to get them to bend. See how she's like kind of like bending her body into a circle. She's bending back this way. Hopefully, there we go. And so I'm trying to get her to stretch out on this ladder and keep both, if she can keep back feet on, that would be great. But then she even, I think, offers to come all the way up, which tells me that she's feeling a little bit confident about this, which is also good. My goal was kind of to get her to stretch. And now somebody does kind of come around the corner and I didn't catch them right away. Oh, good girl. Look at that. So she is a champion and just jumped off right this way. I grabbed my phone and we're going to go back to, we're going to try one more thing before we go back to aisles that we are comfortable with. She was doing really good with getting up on top of things. So I figured I'd try one of these little rolly carts. And she said, sure, I'll do that for treats. And so this is just another thing helping her get back in touch with her body, especially because these things move just a little bit. These are great exercises for dogs who are a little bit nervous. Now, if you notice, I'm going to show you here in the next, one of the next clips. She's not a dog right now who wants any pets or praise physically. She is too worried about what's going on. She is too in her head. And you can see she's got a tense mouth in her pant. She is still taking treats, which is great. But she is definitely a little bit on edge and just kind of paying attention to her surroundings. So we're just going to keep it to a little bit of yes game, keep things nice and easy. This was the second aisle we came into when we came into the store. So I'm back in that aisle to kind of give her something that she's familiar with and something that she's already conquered. So she's already been in this aisle. She already knows that when we were in this aisle last, she did a lot of yes games, she got a lot of treats, and things went well for her. When I am at Home Depot, it is my job to stay out of the way of the people who are shopping. So that is also why in that previous clip, when the person showed up, I just kind of ran, because I definitely want to make sure that I am advocating for dogs, but ultimately this is not a store to do dog training in. This is a store where people shop in, and it is my job to make sure that I'm not interfering with that process. So we just kind of found an aisle that was clear, and I, at all times when I have dogs in Home Depot, have my head on a swivel to make sure that I'm staying out of the way. So here's what I'm going to show you a little bit about. She's not that interested in physical affection right now. When we are anxious, when we are stiff in our bodies and we're anxious, and somebody comes and sits and rubs your back, it's not always what we need. If somebody just comes and sits and rubs your back and says, hey, it's okay, try relaxing, that almost can make things worse. So dogs are very sensitive to this. So when they're nervous, sometimes what happens is we go to pet them and we make the anxiousness worse. And what she really needs is to just be calm, cool, collected, and then be led. So here I just offered a little bit of physical touch and she said, no, thank you. And I'm gonna show you what that looks like from the front. So when I go to reach to pet her, she blocks me with her head. She tilts her ears back, gives me a whale eye, does a big stress yawn. She also went from a pant mouth to a closed mouth. So she was just not interested in being touched or being pet at this point. That might have been different if her person was here. I'm kind of a stranger to her. She knows me a little bit from a couple training sessions that we've done in the past over the last few years. But she says, I don't really need to be touched by you right now. I'm worried about something else. So I'm just going to give her that calm, cool leadership. When I have nervous dogs, getting them back to the car is sometimes the longest part of the session because they want to go. They want to leave. and I am there to make sure that we are not running away from the store, because nothing was dangerous about the store. You were safe the whole time. Nobody was trying to grab you. So what I try to do is just have a moment with the dog where we make calm, quiet eye contact before they get in the car. So I'll open the car door, block her a little bit. Now she's gonna say that is too much energy for me, so I'm gonna gently move out of her way because she gave me space and she was a little bit more polite. So here she kind of says, no thank you. That's a lot of pressure. So I'm just gonna move out of her way and invite her into the car. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you learned something from this video, and don't forget to like and subscribe and join us for the next one.